the heart of a dilapidated building. Shadows danced while dust coated every surface like a thick blanket. Axe felt an unusual pull, his adventurous spirit thriving in places long forgotten by time. The day was no different as he wandered through crumbling walls with Lila trailing cautiously behind him, her anxiety palpable. And he stumbled upon a black door standing ominously against the backdrop of decay. This door seemed out of place, emerging from another realm entirely. Adorned with strange symbols that pulsed faintly, it cast an eerie glow that drew Max closer. Lila hesitated at the threshold, her heart pounding as she studied the door's intricate designs. He recalled whispered tales among friends' stories of doors leading to terrifying realms where explorers met their demise. Concern filled her voice as she urged caution, aware that reckless adventures could turn dangerous. Yet Max remained entranced, placing a hand on the cold surface and leaning in to examine the swirling markings around its frame. Each symbol told a story, beckoning him with promises of discovery, the very elements igniting his soul. Just as he gathered his resolve to push it open, an unsettling presence filled the air around them. Merging from the shadows was a figure cloaked in darkness, an enigmatic entity whose gaze held centuries' worth of warnings within its depths. A mysterious figure conveyed an energy rippling through Max's skin, urging him to reconsider his actions. Recounted fables about explorers who had once stood where they did now, each lured by curiosity, yet never returning from what lay beyond. Tales spun from fear echoed off the walls like distant whispers in a haunted house. Lila tugged at Max's sleeve gently but firmly, dread hanging heavily in her voice as she implored him to walk away from this dark promise wrapped in mystery. Yet inside, Max burned an insatiable flame for exploration, the essence of who he was, and it drowned out her caution. With every fiber of his being focused on unlocking this portal to whatever lay beyond, he took a deep breath and turned back towards Lila, one last time determination etched across his features while uncertainty flickered in hers. He resolved to uncover whatever secrets lay behind and reached for the handle. His fingers brushed against its cool surface and twisted downward slightly, a decision made in defiance against fear. He felt Lila's unease radiate beside him like waves crashing against jagged rocks. The door creaked open slowly as though awakened from slumber. Darkness spilled forth into their world like ink blotted onto paper. Shadows enveloped them entirely as light faded into nothingness, their surroundings twisted into something unrecognizable, a warped version of reality, where echoes lingered longer than expected and silence screamed louder than any cry for help ever could. Somewhere amidst this suffocating void awaited truths, darker than either could fathom, truths lurking just beneath each heartbeat, drumming urgently within their chests. Their encounter with destiny had only just begun. Axe felt an electric thrill coursing through him as he approached the mysterious black door nestled in the abandoned building. A moment he laid his hand on the cold handle. A thick darkness spilled out, enveloping him completely. Lila, standing just behind him, gasped as shadows swirled around Max, tugging at his clothes like ghostly fingers. Inside was a distorted reflection of their familiar world. The air was heavy and cold, everything muted as if seen through a foggy lens. Time seemed to hang still. There were no sounds of birds or distant traffic, only an unsettling silence prevailed. They stepped cautiously into this new realm together, hearts racing with uncertainty and apprehension. Shadows danced along the edges of their vision, whispering secrets that clawed at their minds. Knees settled deep within Lila's chest as she grasped Max's arm tightly. They ventured further in. They stumbled upon a figure shrouded in shadow, a woman named Evelyn. He had been waiting for them in this dark dimension, trapped by her own past decisions when she opened another black door years ago during her exploration. Evelyn regarded them with weary eyes filled with wisdom and despair. She began to recount her story, a tale steeped in fear and regret. Each word resonated deeply within Max and Lila. Her harrowing experiences navigating treacherous realms echoed with their own fears. He spoke of how each black door led to different dimensions rife with dangers that preyed on personal vulnerabilities. Shadows loomed nearby like sentient beings eager to exploit weaknesses, lurking within the hearts of explorers foolish enough to venture into such places. With every chilling sound echoing around them, snaps of branches unseen, and whispers carried by the wind, panic surged between Max and Lila. They felt cornered not only by grotesque creatures lurking just beyond sight, but also by a sense of impending doom entwined with Evelyn's warnings. They pressed Evelyn for guidance on how to escape this nightmare realm. She urged them to confront what lay hidden deep inside themselves, the very fears that had drawn them here. Those would not relent until they faced those fears head-on. Axe exchanged worried glances with Lila. Dread washed over them both as realization set in they were caught not merely in a physical trap, but entangled in a psychological battle against their inner demons. The oppressive atmosphere thickened around them as rustling from deeper within the darkness surrounded them. Determined yet terrified, they steeled themselves for whatever awaited ahead, each step forward bringing forth an unknown challenge, intricately linked to their own hearts and minds. They reached what seemed like an exit point, a second black door. The mysterious figure reappeared before them. He revealed himself as a guardian of these realms who tests human curiosity and resolve. He presented them with a choice: remain trapped forever or confront their deepest truths before leaving through the final door. This climactic moment filled with introspection and bravery. Max acknowledged his impulsiveness, while Lila embraced trust in herself, both facing down their fears together against overwhelming odds. They managed to unlock their potential through acceptance rather than fear. Stepping through the last black door together brought them back home, transformed yet haunted by lingering whispers from beyond. A realm cloaked in perpetual twilight, Max felt an insistent pull guiding him further into obscurity. Each step echoed around him, amplifying the growing sense of dread within Lila and Evelyn. The air thickened with uncertainty, while whispers curled around them like tendrils of fear. Lila wrapped her arms tightly around herself, desperately trying to ward off the chilling sensation gripping her heart. Here, in this distorted world where time stood still, shadows morphed into shapes reflecting her deepest insecurities. Leading glimpses of herself appeared, doubtful eyes staring back from the abyss, revealing a version of herself stricken by inadequacy. The walls pulsed with life, drawing on her anxiety. Evelyn moved closer to them both, sensing Lila's struggle against her own mind. Having been trapped here for so long, she recognized how fear manifested differently for each individual. He guided them deeper into chaos, but warned that confronting their fears head-on was essential for any hope of escape. They ventured further into this disorienting landscape. Max felt his adventurous spirit clash violently with mounting trepidation. Shadows lurked at the edges of his vision, figures whispering taunts about recklessness and impetuosity. Deep-rooted awareness began to wash over him. His thrill-seeking nature had led him down perilous paths before. Suddenly, a shadowy figure emerged from behind a crumbling wall, an amalgamation of every reckless decision he had ever made personified into a dark silhouette. Loomed large and threatening, mocking his choices with sinister laughter echoing off unseen surfaces. Axe halted in his tracks, confronted by his reflection warped through despair, a representation of all he had ignored in pursuit of adventure without consideration for consequence. He felt an urge to run, yet remained rooted in place, as Evelyn gently urged him forward. Meanwhile, Lila faced her own demons, her greatest fear materializing beside her. Failure embodied as a swirling dark cloud above, filled with haunting memories and doubts long buried beneath layers of resilience. He fought hard against its suffocating presence, but gasped for breath under its weight pressing upon her spirit. Evelyn turned towards Lila with intensity shining through weary eyes. She offered encouragement laced with urgency. They needed to stand firm against these manifestations, or risk being consumed entirely by their fears. Together they began moving toward each other amid their turmoil, a silent pact forming between them forged from shared understanding and resolve, despite feeling hopelessly lost within this relentless nightmare. Shadows closed in around them like hungry wolves stalking their prey ready for the kill. Evelyn called out words meant only for them. "This is key, let your truths emerge unafraid." With those words echoing fiercely within their hearts, Max found clarity amidst chaos, while Lila steadied herself against approaching darkness. They took tentative steps forward together. That moment when vulnerability met bravery, the weight lifted slightly, shadows shrank back as realization dawned upon them. Confronting their fears didn't mean succumbing to defeat, but rather embracing who they truly were amidst struggles faced along life's winding roads. It meant reclaiming power stolen by doubt, with newfound determination ignited deep within. Their souls, they pressed onward through swirling obscurity, hand in hand, guided not just by hope, but unwavering support from one another amid dreadful odds, stacked high against fragile spirits seeking refuge on solid ground once more. They approached what seemed to be the final threshold. A second black door loomed before them, its surface mirroring the first. The air was thick with tension as shadows flickered just out of reach, their whispers growing louder in anticipation. A mysterious figure emerged from the darkness once more, his presence both commanding and overwhelming. With a gaze that pierced through their very souls, he spoke of choices, paths diverging in the dark. He explained that this door held not just an exit, but a test of their very being. To leave this realm behind, they must confront their deepest truths and face the fears that had brought them here. Axe felt a surge of defiance rise within him. Curiosity had always driven him. Yet now, standing on the precipice of freedom, he recognized how his impulsiveness had led him into perilous waters. A thrill-seeker within battled against newfound, understanding a realization that recklessness could bear grave consequences. At him, Lila stood firm despite her trembling heart. This moment of introspection, she acknowledged her struggle with self-doubt, the nagging voice questioning her worthiness and abilities. That trust was not merely about faith in others, but also faith in herself, a lesson learned through trials faced together. A mysterious figure observed silently as they wrestled with their thoughts. His aura embodied every fear they harbored, yet also represented potential for growth beyond those fears. Taking a steadying breath amid swirling emotions, Max reached for Lila's hand, a tangible connection binding them against uncertainty. They exchanged resolute glances filled with unspoken determination. Together, they would confront whatever awaited beyond this doorway. If sensing their resolve, the door trembled slightly under Max's touch. With renewed courage swelling within them, they stepped closer until enveloped by its dark aura, a pulse thrumming like a heartbeat beckoning them forward. The shadows shifted restlessly around them as Max acknowledged his reckless nature, accepting that while it defined part of who he was, it did not have to dictate his fate. Lila followed suit, embracing her insecurities, allowed her inner strength to rise against doubt's oppressive weight. This shared moment of vulnerability and acceptance, something profound transpired between them, a bond forged through facing personal demons side by side rather than succumbing to isolation in fear's grip. They breathed deeply together before turning toward the final door, fully prepared for whatever lay ahead. With one synchronized motion fueled by unwavering trust in each other and themselves alike, they turned the handle, collectively pushing open the last black door. Light flooded over them like dawn breaking through nightfall, the warm embrace dissolving lingering shadows from all corners of existence they traversed thus far. Light washed over their forms, entwined together, stepping across thresholds into familiar surroundings once more. They were met with serenity, laced heavily with echoes from realms unseen. A returned home, physically transformed by their journey, Max carried forth lessons learned about balance between thrill-seeking and prudence, while Lila embraced newfound confidence rooted firmly inside herself. And even amidst comfort restored lay traces left behind. Soft whispers lingered at the edges of consciousness, urging caution toward curiosity, still simmering beneath familiar boundary, stretching onward into life itself.